Podcast. We're recording now.
Excellent.
Hello, audience. And welcome back
Hello.
to a belated special episode of the podcast for Aslan. It's special
Yes.
because it's later than usual.
So we've got a theme. Oh,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
there's another reason why it's special. Another reason
yeah.
why it's special is that this is, in fact,
Torchwood
the
week.
Chibnall cast.
This is...
Well, not just Torchwood, to be fair. We've got
Yeah.
Can You Hear Me and Villa Diodati in here.
To be
But
fair,
every episode...
has the touch of Chibnall, if not being directly written. I think only one of these episodes is co-written by Chibnall. Wait, no, he wrote
Yes,
Adrift.
but you need...
He wrote Adrift, didn't he? Yeah.
Damn.
We've got
Okay, if so,
one full
good for
Chibnall
him.
episode and one half Chibnall episode. I believe he wrote Adrift. I
But
might
what
be
needs to be
completely wrong.
understood
I'm not
is that
checking.
it's all in the domain of Chibnall.
Yes. The Court of the Crimson
is-
Chib.
Precisely. This is Chibnall's court, and we are just
We are the
jesters in it.
jesters. Yes. We will dance for your entertainment. If you are Chris Chibnall listening to your podcast, big shout out. We're huge fans. Come on the pod.
Yeah.
Also,
Please do join us on
I'm
the
sorry
pod,
for all the
Chris
stuff we said about Ryan. Not that it's like mean or anything. It's just kind of
I'm not
weird.
sorry for it. I think it's fine, probably.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sorry if Toes and Cole felt uncomfortable with that.
Yeah,
then,
yeah.
My
so
bad.
if you're
I don't give a shit how Chris Chibnall feels about what I
This
said
is
about
true.
Ryan. But like,
if you're a
it doesn't
sea
like
devil
Ryan,
listening to this
sorry.
podcast, I'm very sorry.
Yeah, if you are actually a sea devil and this podcast is actually the reason why you intend to start a war between the land and sea, which is another way that the spin-off could be good, actually,
Honestly,
if it's about
killing
the sea
us
devils deciding to
specifically.
start the war. yeah, because
Honestly,
of the podcast.
You know,
That is a way
the sea-
that the show could be good.
yeah. Well, seeing as the Sea Devils have not yet nuked Coventry, it's time for us to give some advice, and then maybe they will.
Yes.
So,
That's what we're hoping for. That's the aim.
today's piece of advice comes from an anonymous source. They're actually not anonymous, but I'm not saying their name, so now they are. And they're asking, how do I win an election? So, what would the Doctor do?
Well, that's the thing, right? Because do you want to win the election or do you want to become an elected official? Because there are ways of becoming an elected official without, in fact, winning an election. There are ways of becoming an elected official without, in fact, intending to do so.
Yes.
And I think that is the way you need to go. That's the route. If you want to think, what would the Doctor do, that's the route you want to go down. There's other routes you can go down if you want to win being an elected official.
Yes.
But, you know, that's for evil people who put their
Yes.
names everywhere, like some kind of hint towards an ongoing story arc. What
Yes.
you want to do is accidentally become president.
Yeah. It's
Very
very
easy.
simple.
All you need to do is be the main character.
All you
This
need
is
to
how
do
it works.
is get accused of murder. But you see, you can't get accused of murder if you're the president. So then you need to run for
Exactly.
president. Then you need to drown / strangle. Wait, how does he get him in the end? He poisons him, right? In the Matrix mind bat. I fully can't remember.
God.
You need to kill your opponent in the mind realm. You need to kill the only other
Yes.
candidate in a mental battle. And then
The most
bugger
important
off.
part of any election is the mind realm.
Yeah.
Like,
the key.
you know,
the key
that's
part.
how I became Husoc VP in the latest election. I just did real good in the mind realm.
Yeah.
And it all worked out because of that.
You killed the other guy. We don't know who the other guy was
Ron.
because
The other
you
guy
killed,
was Ron.
Yeah, you killed Ron. Fucking
I
crispy.
killed Ron in the mind realm. Yes.
Crispy as fuck.
Ron. Indeed.
Yes. One day I too will become crispy. It's only a matter of time before I get horrifically sunburnt. So I think this is good advice.
Yeah, I think this is very actionable advice that anyone with, like, working knowledge of the mind realm and ability to just absolutely crisp a guy can really act on in a timely and an easy manner to lead to the fulfillment of that goal. And I think that we should be very proud of ourselves.
Exactly. Now it's Torchwood time. So, we've got a lot of Torchwood to talk about because we watched some Torchwood at Whosock as well.
We do. Indeed. We managed to... I think it's our influence that got the Whosock Torchwood episodes in.
Yeah.
I think that, again, I think we should be proud of ourselves once more. They are good. But you know what?
And they're ones we haven't talked about yet on this podcast. Which is good, because otherwise this
worked
podcast
out quite conveniently.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're starting off with everyone's favourite episode of Gate Continuum Series 3, Captain Jack Harkness.
I was gonna make that fucking joke. You beat me to it.
I know.
This is a Gate Continuum episode that was somehow accidentally turned into a Torchwood episode. It's interesting. I feel
it's
like
fully the other way around.
I'm doing a bit.
I know.
The bit is being done.
It's important that people know that I'm deeply unoriginal. But yes.
I think they can tell. I don't think you need to tell them. Anyway, so Captain Jack Harkness is...
Fire me from the podcast already.
You interrupted my bit.
Sorry.
There are consequences to ruining a man's bit.
I'll do it again.
You will experience the consequences.
Anyway, Captain Jack Harkness is rogue but better.
That is true. Captain Jack Harkness, if we're talking about, things that have also ripped off Captain Jack Harkness, Rogue. Captain Jack Harkness is a good episode, I feel. However, it does kind of have that issue of people acting like it's the only good episode, which kind of makes me like it a little bit less.
I don't give a shit. I don't see for people. They listen to me, not the other way around. This episode's great.
It is great. It is great.
It did also remember that End of Days is good. Mostly. But Captain Jack Harkness, amazing episode. I love Billis Manger. Let's talk about Billis Manger.
Wild, yeah. Why is his name that also?
That's just what you'd name that guy, right? Like, if you were that guy, you'd be like, my name is Billis Manger.
The first time I watched Captain Jack Harkness and we see his name written out on that little placard thing, I thought that my mind was playing tricks on me and it said manager, it was his name's Billis and he's the manager, because his name is a fuck's name and a manager is a thing that people can bit.
Especially an anagram.
There was a full amount of time.
if you rearrange it and it spells it spells the Fingers guy from Can You Hear Me? It's actually the same character. We do a lot of getting ahead of ourselves on this episode, I feel.
Yeah.
Billis Manger is an A-class skulker. Dude is skulking so hard.
True.
He's also highly camp. He's excellent. I love him so much. His whole shit is not explained. It's barely explained in the next episode. He serves Abaddon, who is basically the same 3D model from the Satan Pit, but they changed it a bit and painted it black. I fucking love End of Days. I know that the episode we watched was Captain Jack Harkness, but this is the End of Days show. End of Days is fucking great because it's an amazing finale for Series 1 that then 2/3 of the way through you've done all this dramatic character stuff, and it's right, now the rest of the episode happens. Billis Manger's okay, I finally got you to break the thing. Now Abaddon's showing up. And then Abaddon kills every single person in Cardiff. And then Jack Harkness stands on a hill. It's perfect. Yeah. No, the rest of the episode's right. Yeah. Jack Harkness, it's a good episode. We have just said it's a good episode about 5 times already.
It's got Praxeus disease, where you just go, hey, good episode.
It's got Praxeus disease where your skin turns into plastic and you die.
That's the other Praxeus disease, true, yes. But no, Captain Jack Harkness. Things to say about it other than it's good episode.
Damn.
I like it.
We've got Owen. Owen's doing some shit in this episode. He's not the focus of this episode, but I'm always looking out for Owen and Yanto.
Yeah, the Owen Yanto is good.
Yanto gets shot.
Listen to the last beacon. Listen to the Torchwood audio.
Get to it.
The last beacon.
I'm just very busy listening to 8th Doctor Adventures.
That's fair.
I've got to the ones with the monk in. Fucking love the monk.
Oh, fuck yeah. Let's go.
We love the monk. I've also watched most of the Time Meddler in the last week. I'm going very in monk mode.
Yeah.
What else is
into monk mode.
Yeah.
It's based on monk pills.
Harkness is like kind of a Tosh episode. She definitely gets some good moments. When she writes the thing in her own blood.
God,
it's
peak
great.
Tosh.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
And obviously Jack is. This is one of the episodes where Jack Harkness's like charm and charisma actually means something. Like it feels important to the character, because most of the time he's just being kind of like, yeah, I'm Jack Harkness. Hey, what the fuck does he sound like? Hey, I'm Jack Harkness.
That is so not what he sounds like.
I can't. You know my thoughts on American accents, that I can't do them. It's like, hey, I'm Jack Harkness. I'm kind of handsome, right? You know, he says shit like that. But like this episode, it's like, yeah, he's schmoozing. He's schmooving. He's, you know, he's making friends. He's making lovers. He's cool.
It's so true.
And you get
and yeah, there's you also have OG Jack Harkness, who is kind of a dick to his girlfriend. I'll say that. Yeah,
but you know, he's a repressed gay guy who's about to die in the Second World War, so he's allowed to be a dick to his girlfriend.
Like, kill him for it. He's going to be killed for other reasons soon enough. I'm just, you know, in terms of aspects of this episode, I'm trying to think of anything to say other than it's a good episode.
Yeah, no, I do like the conversations that him and the two Jacks have about like leadership and stuff. This is also like the first time we get to. This is like the first time we get indication of Jack's backstory. And like it's not. I don't think it's
story, if you will.
Yeah, and like. It's not entirely the same as the stuff we get in Adam, but it is like, this dude's been in wars. It's also completely wild of like, if you're the other Jack Harkness here, like, what war was this guy in? Like, not the First World War, but like another one. Which, I think there were some wars, but I'm too stupid to know which ones.
Yeah,
the Spanish
this is not
Civil War.
My area of expertise.
Captain Jack Harkness fought in the Spanish Civil War. Honestly, he probably did. Well, no, he was working for Torchwood at the time.
And he couldn't have had a bit of taken a sabbatical, gone and, you know, Spanish Civil War.
Well, we'll see.
Perhaps he couldn't have. I don't know.
Speaking of war, To the Last Man.
This interesting double feature.
They're very similar episodes in my mind. To the Last Man was a lot.
It's episodes where you kiss a soldier and then he goes to die.
Yeah. We've all done.
Yeah. It's.
I've not. Any soldiers listening who fancy having a snog and then going and dying, hit me up.
For real. Comment down below.
Comment down below if you're a soldier who is
in that kind of arrangement.
I'm the one on the left in the photo.
I'm the one on the right of the photo.
Yeah. Just so you know.
You got options.
Yeah. But yeah, To the Last Man was a lot better than I remember it being, which is saying a bit because I remember it being pretty good. But like,
yeah, no, I also had that where I was like, I did remember really enjoying it, but it's just like sometimes you don't really feel like you want to rewatch something.
Yeah.
You're just like, yeah, that was really good, but I think I'm good. And then rewatching it, I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
Good episode. Because I like, especially like it coming after Jack Harkness, I was worried that it would feel less good or feel kind of derivative. But no, I actually think they're a very good, like I said, a good double feature.
Absolutely. I love the fucking Torchwood freezing room. So many guys in there.
Yeah.
You know, because like every Torchwood member when they die goes in there. Crazy. But it's also, I will say my own criticism to The Last Man is I feel like it drags out the ending a little too much. Feels like it kind of, I don't know. But generally it's good. Again, a Tosh.
I really enjoyed it.
Tosh gets a lot in this episode.
Yeah, excellent Tosh episode.
We understand. Again, every member of Torchwood is broken in a fun way.
So true. That is truly like one of the core theses of Torchwood is just like they're all kind of fucked. And it's nice to be able to explore that from different angles and perspectives. Especially because I feel like the ways in which the Tosh is the ways in which the Tosh is kind of fucked are ways that often don't stand out as much compared to other characters in episodes that aren't like Tosh focused.
Absolutely.
So I think it's always good to have a Tosh got problems kind of episode. You know what I mean?
Gosh, you're gonna have a fun time with fragments. We'll get that.
Oh hell yeah, let's fucking go.
But yes, what else was I gonna say? Yeah, I think also like obviously with like around this episode, it sets up some of the Tosh and Owen stuff. Later, like I feel like it's a good lead in for that. But it's also just I like Tommy. Tommy's a fun character, and yeah, the bit where they have to send him back in time. Oh, that like those few scenes.
That hits.
Yeah, that hits.
I honestly feel like the sort of reality of like Tommy is going to die and we have to sort of send him back anyway, and kind of the tragedy of that for me hits more than the like original Jack Harkness is gonna die and this is tragic. Because like that's not something that Captain Jack Harkness the episode kind of focuses on.
No.
And I think in that way there are definitely aspects that I really prefer into The Last Man, because I really the doomed time loop deathism of it all is something that very much appeals to my brain.
Well, I think they're making kind of almost opposite points of, Captain Jack Harkness is about kind of, you might die tomorrow, so you've got to, live while you still can. And,
Oh, absolutely.
Fuck a guy with the same name as you from the future. Whereas To the Last Man is saying, like, what if you froze a guy, and then, like, what if you weren't from a time, you weren't, like, because that's the interesting thing about me. He's from 1917. 1917? Yeah. But he's also not. He's not from any one time. He, exists transitively. He's seen people come and go, and now he has to go.
I really like that aspect, and I agree that like the ways in which Captain Jack Harkness kind of does its sort of opposite thing are good. But as a miserable sod, as an absolute miserable old bastard, I will say maybe there are aspects of To the Last Man that do kind of appeal to me more than the sort of
Wow. Feeling miserable. One episode that will cheer us right up as we move from Torchwood to Torchwood.
Yes.
Because you watched Adrift
Torchwood
this week.
different Torchwood.
Yes.
I did watch Adrift this week. Yes. What an episode.
Yeah.
I did very much enjoy it. It's good. Let's think of other things than it's good. I think it's definitely one of those ones where it's like Jack seems like I get at the end, it kind of reveals why Jack is doing all this, but up until that point when like Gwen is investigating all of what's going on and stuff and Jack is being shady as fuck, truly, like, I'm thinking, okay, he's got a fucking cult. He's doing the shadiest shit imaginable just for fun. Like, that is, like, I think it does a really good job of making you just not trust Jack for shit.
And
Which I think is excellent because it really brings you along on Gwen's kind of distrust of Jack.
Yeah.
It gives you that really sort of interesting. See, I feel like this might have been even better if, for example, like so soon before it, we didn't have the Gwack bullshit in Something Borrowed.
I
I
disagree.
feel like that. Interesting.
No, I
elaborate.
like. I don't. Okay, I'm not gonna fucking defend Gwack. I'm never gonna defend Gwack. No one should ever have to defend Gwack. But I don't. I think that, you know, it's important. Like, an episode of Something Borrowed, as much as you might hate it, and I don't particularly love it. You know, episodes where we'll forget for Matt because it's forgettable. But episodes where the Torch, like, having those two episodes where the Torchwood team are so, like, working together, they absolutely trust each other, and then having the reminder that no, there's still so much going on.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I just think that the romantic stuff is unnecessary.
Yeah.
No, I'm definitely fine with having them work together, and then I very much like that
Gwen and Jack's
contrast.
closeness, be it romantic or no, like, the romantic stuff is completely superfluous and shy, as we know, but like, the closeness of that is very important for making Adrift be the fucking gut punch.
Is good. I just think that the romantic stuff, if anything, kind of weirdly complicates it in ways that are not necessary. But the whole having them be seen as very close, then that I do get that. Another aspect of Adrift that I really like is with Andy, the policeman. I found his character very interesting in that. I found that as kind of a sort of mirror of Gwen at the start of the show, kind of trying to sort of discover more about Torchwood, get involved with it, and then to have Gwen kind of look at this version of herself trying to get into Torchwood and to sort of go out of her way to make sure that that doesn't happen to somebody else is just like really bringing full circle all of Gwen's development so far. It's really good. I love it.
Yeah.
And the fact that to him reads as cruelty, the fact that even when she's trying to do the kindest thing she possibly can for him by making him not become who she has become, he still is hurt by that.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, no matter what she does, she's still going to be causing harm because she can't not, but she's still trying her best to do the least harmful thing possible, which is, of course, what she does at the end of the episode, where she tries to cause as little harm as possible by reuniting the family and still causing even more harm and damage, because some things there's no easy way out.
Yeah, exactly. And Adrift is very much the Gwen episode, and you know, moving from kind of series 1 to series 2, and going from kind of Gwen as the central POV character to Gwen as part of the team, and actually Owen's the main character of half of these. But like, it is very interesting to then see the kind of Gwen POV episode of. I like that she's like doing cop shit. Like I like that. You know, that's part of like, that is still who she is, but she's also Torchwood. And it's also, and you've got the scenes with Reese, I think, are really good. You know, that tension and that, you know, again, Torchwood is breaking, and you can see, you know, this episode more. I mean, as much as anyone, but like very strongly, is about that central conflict of, you know, I am in Torchwood are good. What, you know, when Grease is like talking about, you know, don't want to have kids with her, and you get that point of like, what is the plan of their life going forward? You know, you can't stop being in Torchwood. We know that, right? You know, this is an inescapable thing, and you know, and it's also a thing of like, this is inescapable. What do you do if you realise that Torchwood, you know, is doing, you know, bad stuff? I mean, you know, realise that what's happening is they're trying to do their best. by the end of the episode, that's what we realise. But a lot of the way through, we think, yeah, they're doing some shady shit, as you said. And you think of like, well, you're not going to be able to get out, you know. You are in this thing, you know. You are, you know, I mean, obviously you can, you know, Jack is immortal and he's your boss and he's not going anywhere.
Yeah, the real horror of Torchwood is having your boss be immortal. That's fucked up.
Yeah, true. But yeah, it is. I guess we should also talk about like the central stuff of it's a thing that Doctor Who does not do much. Partially because they're cowards. It does occasionally, but no, as much as you can do in Torchwood because it's, you know, pretty fucking heavy shit. Which is just the complete horror of time travel, and just like how much that would just break you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like as much as we talk about like, yeah, all Doctor Who companions are traumatized, considering what a lot of them go through, they're coping very well.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Victoria was right. This shit is fucked.
Yeah.
Like, you get the fuck out of there, honestly.
Yeah. But like, you know, if and it's one thing if like, oh, you're with the Doctor, you're a companion, you're on your fun TARDIS adventure. It's the other of like, you know, it's almost a, you know, it's almost a fucking, when he's talking about like the dying Earth, there's almost a fucking Curse of Fenric vibe to it. I know, it's predictable, but like there is that thing of like, it is that like vision of kind of utter desolation of, you know, what that does, and you know, as to the it makes me think of the herbivores specifically, of like that is what you become. It changes you, and just the process of time travel changes you, that it physically, mentally, like it is, and it is just, especially with Torchwood, it's, you know, like End of Days is like, there's a big demon, but this is the one, I think it's a really good episode to remind us that the Torchwood team are completely out of their depth, because so much of the show, like they have so much control, like they can just pull up any government database, they can, you know, do all this stuff, and in this episode, you get Gwen's powerlessness against dealing with something that Torchwood is keeping hidden, and you know, it's so kind of desperate and futile trying to help these people who've lost people. It's kind of, how do you even start? But then you also get the idea that, yeah, Torchwood can't deal with this. You know, the rift is so much bigger and so much scarier, and they are tiny compared to it.
They're just like trying to do sort of damage control, trying to do whatever it is that they can. But, you know, even because of how immense the situation is, even just trying to do whatever you can often lead to more harm, because you're set up into this impossible situation.
Yeah. So, from one episode about trauma and elder trauma to another, post 2 sock who sock. Can you hear me? As I say every time I start recording this podcast.
Yeah, loud and clear. I had to do the joke one time. It's not funny, but that's okay. Anyway, Can You Hear Me is a good episode that I enjoyed.
It's good.
Which,
good.
It's, I think that there is a definite variability of quality maybe in this one, where like I feel like some aspects I really, really liked, and then some aspects were a little undercooked, perhaps.
Yes.
It's, you know, it's not a perfect episode, but it's one that I really liked.
Yeah.
I really liked, especially like everything with the Ryan and Graham storyline in this episode, the way it's building towards them eventually like leaving the TARDIS team, and the way that kind of every aspect of it leads towards that.
Yeah.
From sort of Ryan, and I think all in terms of kind of the horror of time travel, this does
Yeah.
sort of not go into it the way that Torchwood goes into it, but sort of the idea of the way in which it separates you
Yeah.
from the people in your
Absolutely.
life and from the life that you've been living. I feel like this is
Yeah.
a really good illustration of that in terms of like Ryan's fears in this.
Yeah.
So I really do like that.
Well, also we get the the idea that Ryan's great to do is he has seen the end of the Earth. He has seen
Yeah,
an Earth that is destroyed, quite possibly due to the consequences of things happening in his lifetime. And there's a sense of he's running from that.
yeah.
Yeah, I think we know which part we're talking about when we say Undercooked. The Yaz stuff.
Well, you see, Yaz was at a road,
Yeah.
and
think-
then she gave 50p to a woman that she tracked down somehow.
By being a cop, that's easy.
I mean, a cop.
He's a cop. All cops know each other, I'm pretty sure. I've heard this.
That's how it works,
I
right?
don't know. But yes, I think that I kind of like the ad stuff. I think it struggles a bit from being poorly written, and it also struggles a bit from the fact that it's clearly trying to allude to something that it can't really say. Insofar as Yaz running away is, I think, meant to be a clear stand-in for an attempted suicide.
Right, yeah.
Like that's the read that I get from the episode, at least. But obviously
I get
they can't
that,
really say
yeah.
that, and so it feels kind of odd, specifically because the
It
idea
makes-
of her
yeah,
running
'cause
away
they're-
is odd, because she's doing that in the
Yeah.
TARDIS. Ah.
Yeah, that's the thing, because they're like, oh well, she's moved on, she's doing better than that now, and it's like, no, that's literally what she's doing, and that could be another interesting read, actually, if you kind of think of it as like
They don't-
Yaz's worst fear is essentially what she's doing now, and she's like in denial of the fact that this is also running away, and that
Yeah.
could be like an interesting thing that you could explore in your brain, but it's not something that the episode
Not in
is
the
exploring,
episode,
and
no.
I do, yeah. The
Yeah.
episode, it does kind of, the way that it's treating the idea of her running away as this kind of ending, not as like a
it's-
potential continuing or potential new beginning, but as an ending, does kind of make it feel, like it is framing it in that kind of lens, but treating it with that kind of seriousness when it's just like her at a road just makes
Oh,
it feel very odd.
serious business, but it doesn't quite
Yeah.
hit as much as it's clearly would.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the real stars of the show. Fingers Man.
Let's go.
Zelen, as in and the other Eternal, who is less interesting. She's more powerful, but less interesting. Spends most of it in an orb. But
Who are pondering the orb?
Zelen.
No, I do think she is kind of interesting
cool.
in terms of like the way that she's sort of used in the plot with this really good
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of misdirect.
Oh yeah.
that-
The plot's good,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
she as a character
that's
isn't doing
good.
much.
Yeah, she as a character isn't doing much, but she's useful to the plot, and the plot is good. So
I mean,
I'm good with that.
I like the bits with her and Zelen, and they're kind of, we're going to have so much fun. I still can't place who the actor for Zelen is.
Truly freak for freak.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I've also got no idea. But
Yeah, so familiar. But I need to talk a lot about this. I need to talk a lot about this episode.
on.
There's so much of the episode I love. I don't think there's so much.
I
cool
also
stuff.
have more things that I intend to say, but you go ahead and then I'll go ahead. We can just gush about Can You Hear Me, because it's good.
Yeah. So this is the kind of episode. This is the thing, right? I have a lot of thoughts of comparing this episode specifically to not like series 14 in specific, but in the abstract. In terms of this is what I want when I like, I want Doctor Who to be inventive, but I want it to be inventive in this way. I want it to be trying weird things in the way of, like, this episode has all these weird, like, wipes with these swirling cloud effects, and it has the, like, kind of animated sequence that's the other Eternal, whose name I forget, projecting a thing into the Doctor's mind while she's dreaming.
Yeah, I like that.
And it has,
good.
you know, Fingers Guy.
Fingers Guy? Hell yeah, what more do you need?
Yeah, you know, and it's talking about, you know, interesting stuff, right? That's what the inventive is, rather than, like... But at its core, it's still, you know, despite being so weird, it's at its core an episode about the Doctor solving a problem in a, you know, it scans about, again, like many 13th Doctor stories, this could be a third Doctor, actually it's what could be, it could be a fifth Doctor story, it's got Eternals in it.
It is, it's Enlightenment.
Yeah.
Which you still
luckily
haven't seen, is that correct?
Yeah, but luckily it's got the 13th Doctor instead of the 5th Doctor, which is good for me.
I am happy either way. They are both Doctors I like a lot.
Fair enough. I don't dislike the 5th Doctor. I just like 13 more. You know, these things happen. But I also want to talk about Eldritch Beings, Elder Gods, Eternals. I have still not have seen Enlightenment. I'm sure I will like it, or I'll absolutely hate it, but I'll probably like it. I'll have many thoughts on it as a big fan of Armageddon Factor and a strong 100% believer in the idea that there are not separate black and white Guardians. Anyway, not important. Eternals.
That is absolutely something you can interpret from Enlightenment.
Good. Eternals. I love the Eternals in this because, yeah, they're godlike powerful. They fuck with shit. They break the rules. And they break the rules of the... And, you know, amazing, you know, this is... I mean, it's not, you know, super... you know, innovative direction. It's been done by loads of things before, but it's a great thing to do, and it is, you know, innovative in a way of, reflecting the Eternals being things that can bend the rules of the universe by bending the rules of the cinematic language, by having these strange cuts with the swirls and having, you know, animated segment, like, it tracks thing to thing. But the important thing I like about this is there is a temptation with Elder Gods, especially if you're bustlety babies, to, you know, go, and, you know, this is me when I was bad at running RPGs, but to go in this idea of, like, Elder Gods are, obviously they're all-powerful, so, you know, the only way you could defeat them is by bullshit, right? You know, they hold all the cards, they do whatever they like, because they just, you know, snap their fingers and done it. You know, you can't tie them in ropes, they'll just snap their fingers and undo them. And the issue with that is that it is, you know, it works if you're, like, if you are a non-racist version of H.P. Lovecraft, that is to say, one of the many writers who came after H.P. Lovecraft and made the mythos better and all that. I've not read most of those, though.
Yeah.
But if you're doing, like, The Call of Cthulhu, the book, or to be fair, the role-playing game. Well, not really the role-playing game. You have to... Yeah, anyway. But if you're doing that kind of thing where it's like, you know, Elder God fucking kills you and you die. But actually, even in Lovecraft stories, no, there are rules. There are things you can remind them. It is the idea that, yeah, they are powerful, but they're not the fucking Christian God. Because nothing is. Fuck off. Sorry, this is Matthew becoming a Reddit atheist. I am saying so much shit. I'm going to keep talking. Where was I getting to? But this is the point.
I'm with you. The Christian God is less interesting from a story perspective.
Yes.
We're not getting into the fucking discourse of whatever. No. Just less interesting from a fucking story perspective.
But this is what I like about Can You Hear Me is, we get the idea. These are godlike beings, but you can imprison one in a fucking orb, right? And, you know, the Doctor beats them by outplaying them, by taking one of their own creations and using it against them. It works, you know.
It's good.
It's a play, and, you know, I'm going to chat shit about the Devil's Cord now, because, God, I fucking hate the Devil's Cord. But the thing I hate the most about the Devil's Cord is that the plot of the Devil's Cord is Maestro shows up, and they can do fucking anything with music, in an undefined way, and it's like, well, the only way to defeat them is by pressing the win button. Because if you've set up elder gods in that way, then that is all you can do. You can just press the win button. It's the same with the Toymaker and the Giggle.
It's not an interesting struggle, and it doesn't come up with interesting storylines, interesting plans. It's just like, this character's the most powerful entity ever. Good thing there's this MacGuffin that is the only thing that you can possibly use against this most powerful entity ever. Or else we'd be really in trouble, because this is the most powerful entity ever. And it's great, that's not a story.
Yeah, but, and Can You Hear Me is also good at, like, making them, creepy, scary, Doctor Who should be scary. Yeah. It's important. A guy put his fingers in your ears.
That's fucked.
Yeah. Anyway, what did you want to say about the episode?
Yeah, I actually really like the bit where the Doctor is kind of insensitive at Graham about the cancer thing. That's often used as a means of clowning on the 13th Doctor. And I hate that, because other Doctors also are dickheads, and this is honestly a lot less dickheady than things that other Doctors do. I'm thinking of, like, Rory, she's having an emotion! Like, this is way less dickheady than that.
You can't compare anything.
Is showing...
You can't compare any Doctor's actions being less dickheady than the 11th Doctor talking to Rory. That's fair, like saying it's less wet than the fucking ocean.
That's fair. But it's still like a lot of people use that as like the way of showing that the 13th Doctor is the worst of all Doctors. It's like, well, I don't think that's true. But also the 13th Doctor is kind of a dick, and that's good.
Yeah, but also in context that line is kind of good. Like, it is.
Yeah, she is showing how that she wants to help and be there for him, but she doesn't know how. But she is still doing her best to show an intent of, like, I would like to support you. I will maybe think of something sometime. I don't really know what to say. But, like, this isn't...
It's fundamentally...
This isn't... Yeah, it's fucking good. But it also is interesting...
Giving a platitude would be worse, because, I've also thought a lot about this line, because it's I'm saying this is an irrational fear, but it's not completely irrational fear, because it could come back, and I don't know how to deal with that.
So it's like, what do you do with that?
I know that the result of I'm doing well, and it's the thing of like, if you give a platitude in that situation, it's like, okay, sure, but it doesn't, you're not addressing the thing, and I don't know how you deal with that, and the Doctor's just being honest, and that's it works. Also, she's an alien.
It's a good line. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And she is, like, very much characterized as being sort of quite socially awkward, and this is deeply in character for A, the Doctor in general, B, the 13th Doctor in particular. Yeah. And it's good and it works. Yeah. And I think that people are a lot more resistant to signs of social awkwardness and general dickery from the 13th Doctor more than other Doctors for reasons, I'm sure.
Yeah,
no clue what could possibly distinguish this Doctor from all the ones before this Doctor that would make people want this Doctor to be nicer. Have you ever seen that one YouTube comment? It goes flying around a lot, you see it around a lot, where someone is complaining about how the Doctor is being too mean to Davros. Real YouTube comments someone made about the 13th Doctor.
I'm fully, like, I'm sorry. Please don't ever tell me about a YouTube comment about the 13th Doctor you once saw again. Like, sorry, but, like, just to break the, like, banter we have on this podcast, come on, mate. You've got to touch grass.
I get that, but no, like, I've seen that going
eat it
around
with your mouth.
So fucking
It'll
often.
damage your teeth, but it'll be worth it.
I somehow feel that it will not.
Anyway.
I think I won't be gnawing at grass yet.
I had a lot of it as a child, and it's never done me any harm. I need to see a dentist. It's been a while.
That explains so much.
I see a dentist who'll rip out all my teeth and put them in his face.
Stenza technology.
Stenza technology. Anyway, talking of the 13th Doctor being kind of a dick, but in, like, a good way where it's character. Haunting affair, dear Darty.
Peak.
This is the best
Let's
episode of
fucking
Series
go.
12, right? Like, we haven't finished the rewatch
Yeah.
yet, but we know what the next 2 episodes are. This is the best episode of Series 12.
Even if the next 2 episodes are better than people say they are, and I feel like they're probably not going to be as terrible as people say they are, but we'll find out.
One of them might not be.
This is going to be the best episode.
We'll
find out.
Yes, we will see.
One
And
of
we
them
will
is
tell you, the
half
listeners.
written by, one of them is half written by by Maxine Alderton, right?
Is that true? I did not.
Is that true?
I thought they
swear
were.
there's,
I thought they were
an
both
episode.
100% Chibnall.
Maybe they are. I know there is an episode later on that is half written by Maxine Alderton.
right.
I can't recall.
I believe
if it's in
that.
Flux
I think
or
that's.
in series
Yeah, I think that's
involved.
Village of the Angels.
Might be in Flux.
Village of the
That's
Angels
on me.
in Flux.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's in Flux.
No,
Okay.
I think
Fair,
Essentially
fair.
Silent Over
Okay, in that
Children are
case,
both written by Chibnall, but
we'll
like the
see.
bad Chibnall. I was gonna agree that they're
that's
both about half written. We'll get to those. We'll
We'll find out.
But
we'll
let's talk
find
about a
out.
good episode for now. Haunting of Dear Darty
Yes. It's good.
It's a good episode, and honestly, apart from the fact that it ends on a cliffhanger, this is a good finale. Because it is.
Yeah.
It is a resolution of the 13th Doctor, of where the 13th Doctor's character has been heading since the very beginning. That fundamentally,
Absolutely. I think, it picks up on the sort of way in which Series 11 does finales in terms of, like, let's do character arc shit.
Yeah.
And I think it, does a good job of that.
Yeah. Rewatching this did remind me more that Fugitive to June is useless, because I don't think we needed Jack to warn us about the lone Cyberman. We already got that from everything, all of it.
Yeah.
One,
I would say
fucking Cyberman, and B, the Doctor.
Wearing most Cybermen
but also, like, the Doctor,
a decent shout.
The Doctor deduces what the Cyberium is and what the consequences of letting a Shad have it would be in this episode. But again, let's not shit talk Fugitive of the June. Let's talk about why this episode's good. And we're starting at the end because we already started there. But yes, this is where the 13th Doctor's arc has been headed, is to that moment where the team structure isn't flat. That speech, it's very good.
Yeah.
Because
good.
This is the fundamental tension of the character, right? Her trying to be nice and part of the fam, and this kind of upbeat optimist, having a good time with my mates. And the other thing of she's the Doctor, she's got to face up to shit, she's got to make the fucking decisions, and and also the fact that she is a bit of a control freak, not like massively, not like the master or whatever, but no, she is in charge.
That is absolutely an element that is quite prominent in this particular regeneration, I would say.
Yeah, like
generally as the Doctor, but I would say 13 has that kind of element too.
Like this is the 13th Doctor is weirdly similar to the 7th Doctor, but is just hiding it a lot more, right? Like, she's still doing a lot of the same stuff in her head, but she doesn't want to be scheming. She's not doing it, but like the scheming isn't there, but a lot of the other ways of like control and how she plays with companions. And God, you've got to listen to the 7th Doctor audios, please. I beg you, listen to the 7th Doctor main range audios.
Which ones?
All of the main range ones. Not all of them, but like most of them.
Just like list a few.
Well, okay, so you've got to start with you've got to start with Fearmonger, obviously. Then like Colditz. The Raptures,
I've listened to that.
Yeah. The Rapture's very good because it takes place in Ibiza, in a club.
Hell yeah. Let's fucking go.
And then you've got the Hex stuff, obviously his introduction in The Harvest, I think it is, or maybe The Gathering or The Reaping. I don't remember. There's 3 episodes. They're all like part of a trilogy. They're several episodes apart, but that one with Hex is great. And then the other Hex stories, most of those good, especially Live 34, which is maybe the best Doctor Who of ever, apart from several other things I'll talk about this. Live 34 is really good. And then more Hex stuff. Also, you've got to listen to other stories concurrently with things, because there's various story arcs that tie into things. You've got to listen to the Project trilogy and some other stuff. I'll get out a diagram at some point, but Then you can make
Oh, that would
eventually
be
you'll make
helpful, yeah.
eventually you'll make it to Project Destiny, which is the best Doctor Who story ever made until the next one that they made, which is Death in the Family, which is the best one. And then you've got the Elder Gods arc, and the Elder Gods arc is so good. Anyway, Haunting.
All right, great.
Haunting and Video
Well, thank you for that.
Yes. So yeah, we talked about the ending. I also like the 13th Doctor doing the psychic projection, project you to your death.
That is, yeah.
It's
always a good
it's
bit.
a fucked thing, and it's again the Doctor is like, yeah, no, the Doctor's an alien, right? You've got to remember, she's a fucking psychic Time Lord. She can do this shit.
Absolutely. I would say in terms of like especially New Who Doctors, 13 is one of the standouts in terms of the Doctor's a fucking alien.
Yeah.
Which I think is excellent because I like when we have the Doctor's a fucking alien moments.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's move a bit back in the episode.
So another standout of the episode for me is the sort of bit of don't snog Lord Byron.
Yes.
Which is, said while pointing directly at Ryan. We're acknowledging the Ryan Riz once more.
Yeah.
And acknowledging that don't
Lord
put
Byron.
Ryan in a room with a male historical figure. It's
God
not.
damn it. Yeah.
if you want to get shit done other than a meet cute,
Yeah.
don't put Ryan in a room with a male historical
this
figure.
is-
Well, okay, a meet cute or a duel is apparently Ryan's two options.
I fucking love Dr. Polydor, a guy who
fucking
duels
duel.
everyone. This episode's so good at the characterization of like the historical figures. Like, and this is an episode that doesn't feel like it's completely dick sucking any historical figure. It's mostly because it's portraying these people as mostly fuck ups, right? But
Which
fuck
is
ups
good.
who will write some of the most important pieces of poetry and fiction ever. I mean, like Shelley will, and Byron, I think, and Polidori writes The Vampire, which is good. I don't remember. Does Claremont ever write anything? I don't know my literary history that well. But anyway, but also this is the horniest episode of the 13th Doctor era, but it's good because this was a house
I don't
full
know,
of
The Witchfinders is also quite horny, I will say.
does not hold a candle to this. I mean, yeah, as like a bit, but like this. I mean, it's the Lord Byron episode. It was always going to be.
That's fair.
But it's also
That's
like
fair.
this is the house of people who have spent all summer doing weird sex shit because instead of going outside, you know they were fucking nasty. I mean, like historically, most people in that house were fucking Lord Byron. You know, these are facts. But
Indeed.
I love how they're characterized. And yeah, it's the horror stuff. It works.
I love it when there's a fucking weird house.
Yeah.
I do like that.
It's given ghost light.
The sort of yes, excellent.
Yeah.
The fucking things with the rooms of the house just being like weird as hell and not working in any kind of like linear normal fashion that you could possibly imagine is good. I like that. I like that kind of
really
surreal horror vibe.
Yeah. It really establishes the claustrophobia, which then like there's a lot of building up the claustrophobia, and then it's like now we're introducing a thing, and by a thing I mean a shad. Oh.
A shad pig.
He's great. Chris Chibnall being like, no, we're gonna do partially converted Cyberman again, and this time I'm going to be able to veto the costume design.
Real.
But, no, a shad is an excellent character.
It's like Cyberwoman if it was a man.
Yeah. And
I wonder if there's a word for that. Anyway.
Fuck. Also, yeah, he's got the weird kind of patched together stuff and the rust but another one of my favorite bits is the bit with the shad where Mary Shelley does the whole like power of love speech, and the shit that would win if she was in fucking closing time, and then a shad true sigma male The rare cyber male. But no, it does have the vibe of certain moments in Gate Continuum. But it is Ashad, the fucking Ashad being like, no, I fucking killed my family because they hated Cybermen.
Whoa.
But I fucking love being a Cyberman. Also, I'm angry.
It's great.
I've got emotion.
Fucking great.
Yeah, and yeah, Ashad is great because he solves the Cyberman problem. You know, you don't need to put them with the Master anymore because you've now invented a Cyberman who has a personality who you can have a conversation with. And so luckily they never made the Cyberman the second fiddle to the Master again.
Ooh, let's go.
Sorry, listeners, for me screaming, but you know, we know what's coming up.
We don't respect you. And yeah, we know what's coming up.
It's fine.
I'll
mix the audio after this. But yeah.
Hey, if you want to go for it.
In the
but yeah,
video,
another great,
yeah, straight up
another great
Haunted.
aspect of this
Yes.
is the fucking hand.
Oh yeah, it's Skeleton Hand.
The fucking hand! Come on, let's go. We
not-
upgraded. We've gone from finger to hand.
Fingers guy, Skeleton Hand. It's just like,
Yeah.
no, this is just from my skeleton that I keep around because I'm Lord Byron and, you know, I keep a skeleton around. It's great.
True.
It's amazing. I love it.
So yeah, fucking creepy ass skeleton hand. It's good.
That's a lot of creepy shit. So, you know, there's the possibly real ghosts.
Yeah, that's good. The fucking bit at the end where Graham's like, yeah, but that was just you guys also saw that, right? That's what you guys were seeing. Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Not anything else. I love the ambiguity. I love the ghost question mark. It's
Who
good.
knows? Yeah.
Ghost light, but it's Graham.
Yeah. No. I don't. I like Graham, but that would I don't think work. Well, I guess who's he replacing? Because I immediately think Ace, but like.
I also immediately think Ace.
Yeah. Because who else would he fucking
makes
replace?
the
Control.
interactions with that girl like way weirder.
Yeah.
So
He's replacing,
maybe not.
He's replacing Redford's Fern. Fucking the hunter guy. Wild.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah, but in the video, Darty straight up haunting it, and by it I mean my Siberium. That was
Real.
terrible. Haunting video, Darty was not terrible. It's in fact really good. Do we have anything more to say?
Just generally, I feel like we haven't gone quite enough into the absolute wonders of the duel.
Oh
the
yeah.
fucking duel bit. We mentioned it briefly as we were like going through like Ryan Reyes and also duel, but I feel like I want to just go back and mention the duel for a moment because that's phenomenal.
Me when I wake up and I'm like, I must immediately challenge someone to a duel. So good. It's amazing. Again, characterizing these weird fucking aristocrats who've been like all summer like getting high, fucking each other and writing poetry. It's excellent. And, you know, again, it's because the episode isn't 100% about them. You know, it's not like, it's subverting the power of love winning. It's subverting the winning using the power of the historical person. You know, it's not like, you know, you don't have the ending where Percy Shelley's, you know, poetry is so powerful that it overwhelms. No, he's fucked and he's desperate and he's dying and he's a real human and the Doctor has to mind fuck him to, you know, solve the thing. And yeah, like, this is history. This isn't Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror, which is a good episode, but isn't quite. But
this is better.
Yeah.
So bro needs to discover the fact that he's gonna like die on a boat.
Yeah, strapped to the mast possibly.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah.
Fun fact.
yeah. Tied himself to a mast. Said a load of shit. Percy Shelley truly, he lived a life. I think
one of the guys of all time.
One of the guys wrote some very good poems, and was based, apart from the ways that he was not. Yes, I think my conclusion is that Doctor Who needs to do more stories specifically set on that night in the Diodati. You know.
Absolutely, I think there should be a bunch of other shit also going on.
We've got Mary's story. I think there might be a 10th Doctor comic or something. I don't know.
Probably.
But we can have more. More stories set specifically on the night that inspired Frankenstein. More of them should have Cybermen in. Mary Shelley should meet like 50 Cybermen. It's good.
Yes. Mary Shelley should get almost cyber converted.
Yep. Yeah.
Yep.
Right. We have already hit the 1 hour mark. Time to talk about Gate Continuum.
Let's go. Right, Gate Continuum, the thought everyone comes here for.
Yeah.
The most popular part of this whole podcast.
I need to look at our statistics and see who stops watching at this part.
You're not a real true podcaster for Rassilon Stan if you don't stick around to the Gate Continuum recaps. You're a fake fan if that's the case. Nevertheless, even if you are a fake fan, please keep listening
please like
to
and
these.
Subscribe, please.
Yes. I don't care if it's fake. I don't care if you're lying to me or pretending. Just do it. It's fine.
Yeah. Anyway, Gate Continuum.
Gate Continuum. Gate Continuum. The gate did in fact continue.
We're so
the devil you know?
The devil you know, yes.
What?
Just we're fucking cooked, I think. But anyway. Yes, Gate Continuum.
I'm ill again, I have an excuse.
Well, I'm not. I have no excuses. So, this episode, following on from last time, the gang ran away except Bentley, who got captured.
Let's go.
Isaac and Duncan summoned the Green Knight and had a chat and figured out what it was. That is to say, mostly lichen, slime molds, moss. I fucking love moss. Plants, symbiosis, parasitism, themes. Are there? I don't know. Yes. Then Bentley got tied up on the floor of a church and had a fun conversation. Then the gang rescued Bentley, broke his leg in the process. Summoned Coronzon, who was, of course, behind all of this shit, because it's Coronzon. I realise the audience don't know who Coronzon is. I'll quickly summarise the Voice of Angels as well.
Coronzon.
Yeah. From
it's Coronzon.
Yeah, not related to Aleister Crowley.
From the Davids.
Yes. No, from The Voice of Angels, which is an episode where they went back in time and met Edward Kelly, not confused with Ned Kelly, who's a very different guy who they've also met. But Edward Kelly, friend of John Dee, who was speaking to angels, but it was actually demons, but it was actually daemons, but it was actually Coronzon, who's a daemon from the planet Deimos, like in the Third Doctor story. Anyway, it was revealed in this episode that Coronzon has been on the gate the entire time. Well, not the entire time, a lot of the time. Like Empire of Death,
in a way that is in no way similar to any story arcs that have occurred on New Who at any point.
No, because this one made sense.
That's fair.
Anyway,
that's fair.
Then they had a chat with Coronzon, and then the Green Knight ate Coronzon due to Isaac coming up with one of the best plans anyone's ever pulled on me in an RPG. So that was a very quick summary. What were your thoughts?
I very much did enjoy it. I thought it was good. I liked the sort of, you kind of, going into it, we knew the title was The Devil You Know, so there's kind of this vibe of like, wait, Coronzon? Or is that too obvious? And also it's not the season finale yet, and Coronzon feels very much set up to be season finale character. But no, here's Coronzon, and we got him. So the question of what the fuck is season finale gonna be is, forever. Well, I say forever. It's present until season finale occurs. But yeah, no, that was. I thought it was a really, I really enjoyed the episode. I liked Yeah, it was very like I think I compared it to Torchwood Series 2, and especially kind of like Adrift in terms of the like, hey, what if this morally fucked up thing was occurring and you wanted to try and do something about it, but you couldn't really find a good option. Except
Yeah.
then we subverted that because Isaac found a good option.
Yeah. Yeah. Um,
So yeah, sorry, we subverted your Torchwood.
no, I'm not mad. It was so good. It was so fucking good. I
Yeah, yeah.
fucking love it when a player does shit like that. Um,
Classic take a third option.
yeah, yeah. It's very much a thing of like, you know, I I will not let players do anything. There was a lot of things that the players, like Isaac had another plan that came close that would just have not worked and would have made no sense. Um, but this plan did work and was amazing, right? It's the thing of like, yeah, sometimes you gotta get low, but also you've got to like check with the GM and make sure that I'm not gonna fuck you over. But this was good. This was very good.
Mm.
But yeah, I've still got to do some fuck shit because yeah, I think it's very interesting. Obviously, Bentley's reaction to everything that's gone on here. I'm looking forward
Yeah.
to the other party members being able to understand why a lot of that is.
Yeah, this was very much an episode that affected Bentley very strongly in a way
Yeah,
that the other characters don't really have an opportunity
yeah,
to know about. Bentley did deliver a little bit of a backstory lore drop to an NPC,
yeah,
not to any of the actual other characters, which I think is the right way for a character like Bentley to do
yeah,
it so far. But I do hope to be able to kind of broach more of
yeah,
that. But
yeah,
that has caused some conflict. I do like character to character
yeah.
conflict when you can kind of have an opportunity for that. I've
Yes.
been very much enjoying that. So we had another classic Bentley Duncan
Yeah.
argument occurred.
I'm This is one of the things that I'm very much interested in, especially going into this series finale, possibly going into series four. I might carry on in some way into series four, but very interested to see, where the Bentley Duncan conflict is going on a wide scale. I'm not
Yeah.
expecting you to have a plan for that, but you can if you want. I don't know. I imagine you've got thoughts in your head.
I've definitely got, I mean, because I've got thoughts on
Yeah.
how Bentley is feeling at the moment, how
Yeah.
Bentley has been affected by everything that's kind of transpired. I haven't necessarily got thoughts on, like, because I don't know, obviously, what Duncan is going to do or what the situations
Yeah.
that our characters are going to be put in are.
Yeah.
But, I've kind of got an idea for how Bentley is feeling at the moment, which is,
Yeah.
because of this. I think it's also interesting with Duncan being made canonically Catholic. That's
Yeah.
been
Yeah.
a thing that's transpired that's kind of caused, like, that was such a little tiny character detail that's seemingly caused even more conflict now because you kind of have their different approaches to looking at the sort of religion of this
Yeah.
spooky town.
Yeah. I think it was very interesting, because again, is the great thing about being GM and not necessarily being responsible for the way that the story resolves. Putting that decision in the hands of players is I don't at any point have to be the one who makes a judgment on what is the right thing in this situation. There were definitely wrong things in this situation, right? Like if you'd fucking
Yeah.
firebombed the town, which Corazon would have done for you. He didn't give a shit. But it's who you think is innocent, who you think is guilty. Like how these people kill anyone? How it's a question. Because who is guilty in this situation? Is it the people who started this a long time ago? Everyone's kind of following a thing. Is it the people doing it? The people who are about to do the ritual, they hadn't actually killed anyone before themselves. They were just about to fulfill what their parents had done. Is it?
Yeah, yeah.
everyone else in the village, okay, they're subservient to the system, but they're also, none of them has ever stopped this. Are they guilty? Who is guilty? And who gets to decide? And Choronzon...
And that's something that Bentley felt kind of affected by and felt kind of trying to work that out in terms of how that intersects with his own experiences sort of, who is guilty in these situations, and, the sort of question of, like, how you walk away from that as someone who is in that system. And
absolutely.
If by not walking away that just makes someone guilty by association anyway, or if that makes, someone being trapped in that like a victim, or, how those two things intersect. Yeah. And that was definitely something that Bentley was kind of troubled by at the time. And you kind of get that in his conversation with the priest, where at a certain point Bentley just kind of snaps and he just says over and over again, "I feel sorry for you."
Yeah,
and he's kind of horrified by the fact that he feels that way. Yeah. Because this man has actually been involved in murdering people. He's been around for like at least one, like probably like several of these murders. Yeah. And yet he's so wrapped up in all of this that Bentley kind of feels like sorry for him even while he's plotting Bentley's own death. And I think that kind of was a bit that sort of illustrated that weird fucky sort of interplay between kind of victim and perpetrator that happens when you get these kinds of like cults,
and this is the fun thing for me. A character I've loved to play, but I'm also quite glad is dead, because he's a weird character to have around, is Choronzon, because he's very in contrast to this of someone who's completely amoral, who does not have a judgment on whether anything he does is right or wrong. He simply observes, and that's, he doesn't know what love is. I don't know what I mean, but you know what I mean. Like he wants to see like what humans will do, and he's fascinated with what he's seen by the gate, and he sets up this thing as an experiment. He sees the people initially making a sacrifice, and then he sees how that changes over time, and you get the sense that maybe he's trying to do something good. Like, he's, in his mind, trying to do something good, but also he doesn't necessarily care. Like, he doesn't place a value on a human life. He, because he sees the world from this objective point of view of people die all the time, and all societies kill people in one way or another. These people they're technically not killing people, but they feed people to the Green Knight, and that incorporates them and whatever. It's like death, or close enough. That's a thing. That is, from his point of view, that's not, perverse or strange. And at the end, he wants to see, he studied the crew of the gate for a long time, and he wants to see how they'll react and what their decision is. Because he's still,
and he kind of he gives them that power in that situation, almost like he's sort of like he's doing it to study them, but he also kind of acts like he's doing them a favor, like it's like like there is sort of absolute sort of like studying them, but it's not that he sort of maybe likes them, but he favors them.
Well, it's also sort of he's studied the people in the gate, right? He's studied all of you, and Barclay Fox, who wasn't really at this session anyway, because James wasn't at the session, like, he understands that, even no matter where the various people in the gate stay under that kind of selfish to selfless thing, all of you want power. All of you, he's seen how many times that the crew of the Gate have struggled against, systems more powerful than them, trying to do good where they can, and he's now giving the thing of like, no, in this situation, you get to decide what is right or wrong. There's no bigger thing that you're fighting against. You have to decide what is right, what is wrong. What would you do? Because he's seen what you've done in previous iterations where the lines have been unclear. And this is that. He's a fun character to have. But I also think it's a nice ending for him, partially because that was such a good play. Isaac getting him.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Anyway, I've just waxed lyrical about my own writing for 5 minutes. So
nice. I had a fair share of waxing that I did also.
Yeah.
So don't worry about it. And you're right. And it's interesting, hearing it from you as the person who's written it.
Yeah.
And absolutely, those are the things that were interesting to me about it, in terms of this kind of this setup of this incredibly powerful character who sort of gives the characters power, but still is exercising his own power over both them and the situation, because he's showing that it's him who's giving us that power, right?
Yeah.
So I just think that makes for really interesting, especially added to the context of how much he's been watching us and stuff. That makes for a really interesting kind of conflict for an episode, especially when we were able to. Well, Isaac was able to kind of resolve that by sort of dismantling that kind of power relationship that was set up by Coronzon.
Yeah. Well, I think we've said enough, and by that I mean the podcast's long, and
let's go.
A bowl of pasta in front of me that is now very cold.
I see.
So I think that's all we've got to say for this week. How about
that's
next week?
Good, yeah.
When we'll be talking about some more episodes of Doctor Who, and importantly, we'll talk about the finale of Series 12. Which will, of course, be to go insane in 5 different ways.
Also, we'll probably be talking about the finale of Series 2 of Torchwood.
Oh, fuck. Oh. And we'll be talking about Part 1 of the finale of Series 3 of Gate Continuum, but not Part 2. You have to wait for that one.
So, it's going to be a real exciting episode. I hope everyone's looking forward to.
Yeah.
Well, tune in next time.
Come back next time, and we'll have more podcasts. This isn't stopping until we die.
We will.